Hi everybody, I'm here at the Melbourne Yearling Sales with the leading insurance broker in Australia, Richard Logan. Richard's company, Logan Livestock Insurance, handle all our insurance claims and handle all our insurance business. With regards to insurance, we take a view that we insure every horse that we purchase, and I'd like Richard to explain to everybody what the purpose of taking out insurance is from fall of hammer. Richard, why would people take out insurance?
Well, the most important reason is that horses are a 500-600 kilogram horse with a tiny little brain, and in the first year everything they do they're changing their environment from a sales complex into breaking in and pre-training. Their feed's all changing, and just everything they're doing for this next 12 months is different, and you're insuring against death, humane destruction, theft, and colic. Explain
to my audience here, what would colic cover entail?
One of the big expenses in the first year, if your horse gets colic and they've got to operate and resect, and then there's a fair amount of recovery, it can cost up to $10,000 or even a little bit more to cover it. So we've designed a policy, or a part of a policy, that will cover you for that expense. So that in the first year we're taking out that expense if there is a colic and you don't get a big vet bill, and most of the other vet bills you get in the syndication, you can spread them out, and it doesn't cost that much. But the colic is the real big veterinary expense if you have a bad colic attack.
Now Richard, I just explained to the audience that I take what we call fall of hammer cover, and fall of hammer cover to a date of the 1st of November. Explain to my audience what fall of hammer cover is and why we go to the 1st of November.
Well, fall of hammer means as soon as the hammer's knocked down, you're legally responsible for the horse, and so the cover starts from there. We've had a couple of claims where the horse is walking out of the sales arena, have lashed out and kicked and done enough damage to themselves that they had to be put down, and so that's the most important part of the fall of hammer. Going to the 1st of November, it's just a good date. Everyone's thinking about horses around in November, and then we can go for another 12 months from then on. And by that stage, you know whether your horse is any good, whether it's worth investing more money on in insurance, or whether or not you let the insurance lapse.
Now, Richard, that's an interesting point for my audience and for my clients to understand that horses' values do fluctuate during its racing career, and obviously they're at their most expensive when they come out of the sale ring, and then they'll start to devalue, and then as they progress to the racetrack, if they perform well, they'll be worth more, or if they perform poorly, they'll be worth less. If I'm taking a insurance value out on a horse at the very beginning and the horse performs well, do I have the opportunity to, I know the answer, but please explain to the audience, do I have the opportunity to increase the value?
Yeah, all the way down the horse's career, you can increase it or decrease it depending on how it goes. But definitely, if you've got a horse that's good enough and it's winning races, particularly if it's winning group races, you want to increase it and protect your investment. Mainly because the good ones pay for the bad ones, and they're very hard to replace.
One of the covers that you include, which we incorporate in our costings, is PPI cover. Would you mind explaining to our audience what PPI cover represents and why it's important for them to have it, which we include in our syndication price?
In order to be a public syndicator, you've got to have a licence from ASIC, Australian Securities and Investment Commission, and part of that licensing is having professional indemnity insurance, and the PPI is basically that policy that
protects the investor in case a syndicator does the wrong thing. So if a syndicator takes your money and puts it into a trust account and then absconds with your money and doesn't do the right thing, PPI cover is there to make sure that you, the investor, are protected, that all things are done correctly, that all matters have been met with compliance, and that all aspects are done by the book. If any aspect it falls over or something goes wrong, you've got to cover. It's a requirement at law, but you've got a cover there which makes sure that you don't lose any financial disadvantage. You don't have a financial disadvantage, that your investment is safe. That's the best way to describe. Would that be a fair way to describe it? in our aspects, from dynamic syndication's point of view, we always take out insurance because we feel that the risk is far too high for our clients coming into the horse in the first year. But at the end of the first period, on the 1st of November, it comes the time to renew your insurance. Does everybody have to take out insurance? If they don't wish to take out insurance, are they forced to? Tell us, how does that work?
You don't have to take out insurance, but in the first year or so of the horses, when you buy it as a yearling, the great majority of people do insure. You've outlaid a lot of money to buy something that's to have a bit of fun, and nothing's worse than it dying and then you don't have anything for the money that you've invested to have that fun. And it pretty much means you can go again and buy another horse and try and get that winning feeling.
Richard, one of the things that obviously people will be asking is, okay, we have to take insurance, or we choose not to take insurance, and that's a personal preference. You're not forced to take it. Even though you're a member of a 10-share partnership, you can choose to insure your share, or you can choose not to insure your share. That is your own personal right. It's not a matter that everybody has to, or nobody can do it. It's an individual right because it's your own individual asset. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Richard, should the unthinkable happen and we have to make a claim through accident, sickness or disease, how long will it take for Logan's to pay out the claim, and what's the process?
Well, once we have all the forms and the important part of it is an autopsy from the vets, or at least all the information. Sometimes if there's x-rays or myelograms, in the case of a wobbler, we don't need as much on the autopsy. But once all the forms are in, most claims are paid within a few days.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Why it's important to insure, why we make sure that your asset is insured from the 4th of November through to the 1st of November, and then it's up to you whether you choose to reinvest in insurance or not. But from our point of view, we find it a very valuable tool and it protects your investment.
Thanks.